Welcome to Keeping It Real, the cast of Male Mentoring with me, Jairo De Leon, and Chris Williams. Today, we're going to discuss a topic that it makes me feel different when people ask me this question, or when I have myself experienced that whole concept of, well, why don't you be a man about it?
Ooh.
Or what does it mean to be a man?
Ooh.
So Chris, if in your experience, man, when you've heard someone say, well, just be a man about it. Like, what does that mean to you, brother?
Wow. Hearing that, so that was something that when we were growing up, that's something that my dad, he would always say that. He would always say, be a man about it. He would always tell us, if you fall, get up, be a man. It was just something that came as part of his script. To me, it meant, no crying. I mean, just the stereotypical man, manly man type of persona. So when you fall, get up. Don't cry about it. Be independent. Be the leader. Be the lion. That it was just that stereotypical type of feeling when it was said to me from a parent perspective. But what about you?
For me, it was more, I guess it's just different stages.
Okay.
Because when you were a kid, you heard the whole just get up and just, kind of dust off and get up. Be a man about it. I was 8 years old. I didn't know what a man really is. Like, I didn't even have like a list, like, okay, box 1, box 2, box 3. I checked those off. I just didn't know. I was just a kid. But as I was growing up, being challenged in junior high, in high school, be a man was to be aggressive, being physically strong so you don't get pumped.
Right.
But see, when I got into my early 20s, being a man was, can I hold my own weight?
Yep.
When you go work at the warehouses, when you go work at those jobs, can you hold your own weight? And I used to always hear that from supervisors. Hey, all I'm asking is hold up your own weight.
Right.
But what does that mean?
Be a man.
Be a man.
Yeah.
Do my part.
Right.
And then now in my 30s, being a man is now it's mixed with husband, with father.
Right.
So there's different stages of what a real man is.
And then you said at 8 years old, when you were a kid, you always heard that and you didn't know what it meant, right? We didn't know what that means. But mentally, it was like you had to figure it out. Like, you didn't think about the concept of man. You thought more of you fall, you hurt yourself, or you do bad in sports, or you weren't hustling enough, and you want to cry, so you're breathing hard.
Right.
You hold it in. You hold it. That tear's going down. Guess what?
Yeah.
It's like that tear back in the eye. So it was more of the concept of me not knowing what it was, but sort of just mentally understanding that I can't cry. And it sucks that that's the way it is. But I like what you said when you said you get up there, you get in the 20s, you're considered an adult at 18.
Right.
My dad used to say that. Get up. Why are you sleeping in? I'm going to work. Be a man. Get up. Go to school.
Right.
And I'm like, wait, what?
Right.
Okay, so being a man, handle your business. Be a man, handle your business. I don't need to be the one holding it down.
Right.
I'm clipping those wings.
Right.
Be a man, get out there. Be a man, go to college. Be a man, get a job. Be a man, pay your own bills.
Right.
It was all a concept to me. But how did you feel about that?
I think now that I'm 41, I get it. Because, at 13, my dad was not going to be around when I was getting punked. He's just not. Hey, Dad, tag you in because I'm getting punked. No, I had to be a man. If something hurt, be a man. Here's a good example. You lose your job at 21. Are you going to go cry about it or be a man about it? Go get another job. So in the ways, there are pros and cons when it comes to be a man. But it's where we always go back to, where is your health, your mental health, even your emotional health? Where is that at? Like, me being at 21, losing a job, I could have easily gone and cry about it, or still maintain that mentality of just be a man and go apply for another job.
Right.
But it's instilled in our brains as we're kids. But I think at the same time is in psychology, right? We
Mhm.
talk about this undertone of what our parents teach us,
Mhm.
what to say, what not to say, how to conduct ourselves in school and versus at home. So I think the word, be a man has always to me been more like you challenge me, my strength, but not my emotions.
So let me ask you a question in regards to that.
Yeah.
That comment that we're talking about, this title, this topic, do you think be a man
Mhm.
now in 2023
Mm.
still has the same value that it did when we were growing up in the 90s, in the 80s? And
You know what, Chris? I think we do. I think it's just a different level, though, right? Where we're more in tune with who we are and how we feel, but it doesn't take away the whole aspect of be responsible. Don't let someone else do your work. Like I think the main concept of be a man is be your own product. Don't be a photocopy. Be your own product.
Right.
Right. So 60, 70, 80, it can be 2050. It still comes back to, and in my perspective, it's just the principle of it.
So I agree with your philosophy,
Right.
but in today, I don't think it has the
Okay.
same value,
Yeah,
Jairo.
okay.
I don't. I'm going to disagree with you.
Break it down.
Because in the education system and us as educators, I feel like there is no, what's the word I'm looking for? There is no real accountability
Okay.
amongst students and individuals nowadays. And I'm saying this as I'm just going to give you an example.
Mhm.
I had a student, this was last semester, who was upset at me because they have work at the same time of my class.
Oh.
Okay, so think about it.
Gotcha.
You as a student register for your classes, right? Before you register, it tells you the day, it tells you the time. So an example is going to be Tuesday and Thursday from 9:30 to 11 o'clock. Right? You see it.
You see it.
You see it.
And
it's
you decide.
there.
That's
in
where I wanna
May, or May is, let's just say registration opens up.
Right.
You have until August to register for the classes.
Correct.
If the class is open, the time stays the same. Okay, so
Right.
student registers for my class. They show up the first day, great, good job. Couple weeks go by, guess what? They stop showing up. They stop showing up. Male student, stop showing up.
Right.
Me as a professor, this is not high school, but me
Right.
as a professor, I contact my student.
Right.
I ask
Right,
them
right.
through email, no response, phone call, contact the student. I say, hey, what's going on? You haven't been to class in 4 weeks. Or 3 weeks at this point. There's certain rules and regulations.
Right.
You may need to drop. All of that conversation
Correct.
took
Correct.
place.
Correct.
But the student said, hey, listen, I have work the same time of your class. I just need you to send me the homework. Let me complete the homework.
Okay.
And then I want the grade. But
Yeah.
you got Billy, Joe, and Jimmy
Yeah.
who are showing up
Showing
every
up
day
and signed up.
and signed up
Right.
and working their butts off.
Right.
But this individual still wants that same credit. That's one example, okay? But there was a heated conversation in regards to this, and I'm thinking in my head, why am I talking about this? You signed up for my class.
Right.
Be a man and figure it out. I know we have work, but there's a lot of options.
Yeah.
There's Hyro's class.
Yep.
There's Dr. Green's class. There's numerous of different
Yeah.
individuals' classes
Right.
that could have been taken. But as far as accountability, that was my fault. And there's so many different examples if you look at today's generation in regards to the topic of being a man, in which that was a stigma back when we were growing up.
Correct.
It's not the same anymore. It's
know,
not.
I get it. I get that there's some of the stuff changed, but I also think if we want to go to data, right, research, the amounts of, not fathers being at home can also influence too, because if your dad's at home, he's keeping you accountable from washing dishes, the simple things at home that will transfer to school or be responsible for what you decide. So if we look at research, right. How many dads are at home? Our dads were at home. So me picking a class, I was going to stick with it. And the
Right.
crazy part is that I've had that experience too. With students telling me, hey, you know what? I just got a job and it's at your class time. I say, that's congratulations, but what do we do for the class?
Right.
But I will let you know, student, you do have the option to talk to your professor and maybe request an independent study. But I'm going to let you guys know that's up to the professor, certain circumstances. And I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of professors that will look at a person and go, they're taking responsibility. I mean, they're going there as far as they can to meet their responsibility.
Mhm.
But I will let you know there are options. So don't just quit because you got a job.
Right.
But let's back up a little bit. If you know your class is at 9 a.m., don't look for a job at 9 a.m. Like, do yourself that favor. Now you're creating unnecessary stress.
Exactly.
Like, it's really unnecessary, but
Exactly.
you're creating that and then you're getting mad at me.
Right.
Your professor or your counselor or your parent, take accountability.
Yeah, and we all understand that a job is essential. Everybody needs to put food on the table. You have to eat. You have to pay rent. Communication is the most important thing. Had I not have reached out to that student, who knows? It would have been an FW.
Yeah, and then he probably would have spread the word that, look, RCC is not here for me.
Right.
So we got to keep in mind, we will always be here for you because we love what we do.
Yes.
But at the same time, it takes a part of you to say, you know what? I need some help. And some of the professor might tell you, hey, I'll give you an incomplete, make it up next semester when you get a better job, quote unquote, a better time. There's always a ways to fix that, right? But at the same time, let's go back to that. Just be a man about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
and this is keeping it real.
Yeah.
Exactly how this
Yeah.
is just a keeping it real conversation
Yeah.
in regards to you and your success. So the moral of that story is communication.
Right.
Okay. If mid-semester you do find a job, that happens. Hey, you moved up. You're moving up on the food chain. That works out.
Right.
But keep it real with us. Keep it real with your professor, not just your guidance class, your English class, whatever that is. All of these classes that go on your transcript, stay on your transcript. If you are here and you leave and come back 10 years later and you see my face again or Jairo's face again, you're going to say, hey, I'm back. And we're going to be like, ooh, last semester, it looks like, what happened?
Yeah.
Did you just stop? Did you quit? We're going to have that conversation because it does not disappear. 10, 15 years. We have students, from the 90s?
From the 90s.
Who come back.
Yeah.
And there's still makeup that individuals have to do from the 90s, more or less digging themselves out of the hole.
Right.
Okay, so communication at work. Personal, professional, with your loved ones.
Yeah.
Communication is the most important thing.
Let's go with that communication.
Yeah.
Let's say when you're dating somebody.
Ooh.
And you start going to school, you got your job, you're making money, you're passing your classes, you meet someone special. Let's call it what it is, man. You look little Betty, something beautiful. And you're like, you know what? This only happens once in a lifetime.
Betty.
No, it's not, okay? I'll tell you right now, it doesn't happen once in a lifetime. You'll meet a lot of people. But the reason you become attracted to someone is because you know what you're doing. You're going to school, you got a job. But let's go with this, right? You got this girl who doesn't go to college. And now she's trying to tell you, you don't spend enough time with me.
Ooh.
You don't love me. Let's go back to that.
Yeah.
Be a man about it.
Right.
What would you do in a situation? I mean, I don't know if it happened to you.
No. My wife was the one who was always going to school. I'm the one who needed to catch up. She told me to step my game up. But in that situation, if there was you don't love me, I'm going to say no.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't.
Dad.
I'm going to say no. You know why? You know why?
What?
Because if you're holding me back, that's one thing you can't do.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of things that you could do.
Right.
But don't hold me back
Don't hold
from
me
my
back.
dreams.
If you love me.
If you love me, don't hold me back from my dreams. Because I'm doing this for not just me.
Right.
I'm doing it for us. I'm doing it for our future family.
Right.
You know, if we're talking about research, the research states that if someone has a degree over a lifetime, they make over $1 million more. Inflation that may have changed, maybe brought it down to 960.
Still 960.
Hey, and that's minimal. That doesn't include all the extra things. That doesn't include what your degree is in, But along with that, there's certain health benefits from having a degree. There's there's communication benefits. There's the ability to articulate with a diverse crowd of individuals. Because in school, that's what you do all day. You speak with a diverse crowd with different mindsets, with different opinions, and you learn to be able to conversate without being so offended. So the degree is not just helping us financially, but it's helping us morally to be independent, to be able to get out there and be a go-getter. So the answer is no, I don't love you if that's your mindset and that's what you think.
Now, if I want to get a job, though, I'm a student, right? If I want to get a job, what would you suggest a student before to go look for a job while going to college? So, which is technically is how you should do it, though. By the way, you first get your class and then get a job, because what happens is that you set a priority for your school, and then job becomes secondary, right? Because you're on a mission. So if there's a student, Mr. Williams, I'm trying to get a job. I have 12 units, but I also want to make my own money. What would be your suggestion to a student who wants to get a job?
Yeah, I mean, definitely go on and do it. When I was going to school, I had a job. A lot of the jobs that I would do would be in retail because they were a lot more lenient in regards to my schedule. I worked sales for most of my college life. I was at T-Mobile, cell phone salesman. One of the best.
Hello. Right?
Would you like a phone charger with that?
Right?
Yeah,
I think you need a phone charger.
You do.
I think you need one. I think you need two.
Yeah.
You need 2 phone chargers just in case.
Just
keep one
in
in your
case.
backpack. See, we could be good. We could be good salesmen.
We
man.
get it right
Make
now.
a lot of money.
But no. So finding that space. So finding that retail space in regards to or just a job that is lenient, because the main thing that I would always put as my consideration is in 10 years, do I want to be in this space? I love sales. Right. But one thing that I didn't like is that every single month there was a quota. So it was a constant hustle. There was no downtime.
Correct.
For me. There was no downtime. So but it helped me get through school. It gave me a good salary to get through. I was able to throw some 20s on the Nissan Altima. I liked it.
But now it's funny how you say that you like sales, because technically what we do today, we sell education. Yeah, to be honest with you, you know, just hearing Chris talk right now, it just blows my mind where he's still doing the same thing, just in a different platform. What I would suggest to students is more of what worked for me was night shift. So I did 20 years of night shift.
You did.
And people go, why did you do night shift? And I go, because it allowed me during the day to do school, internships, you know, get experience. So in other words, I was giving myself no excuses. If I could work nights, you know what? Some people say, but you don't get enough sleep. Yeah, but I'm also 19, 20 years old. 4 hours sleep, you can get it done. 41, check yourself. Yeah. It's not going to happen.
Right.
It's just not. Right. Why? Because I tried to do it once and that's it. I only had like 2 hours sleep and I'm like, you know what? This is not going to work. But.
And you did night shift for how many years?
20.
20 years.
I did 20 years,
20
man.
Years. You were doing counseling while you were working a night shift.
Yes.
So can you just highlight your schedule, your hustle to get to where you're at?
All right, check this out. This is legit. And for those people who have known me personally, they would be like, yeah, that's what he did. So I would leave at 7:30 in the morning. Okay, 7:30 in the morning.
Break it down.
I'm gonna go once I started having a family. So when I used to see my kids and my wife, I would say, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Think about that for a second. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Was this Monday through Friday?
Monday through Saturday.
Monday through Saturday.
Because I worked the Saturday morning because it's a night shift.
So you would every day, 7:30 in the morning, you would say, I'll see you tomorrow. So what, take you to school, or what was it tomorrow? Make breakfast?
No, see you tomorrow because I see your face tomorrow. And you may say, well, how did that happen? Well, I left at 7:30. So I would come 7:30, do counseling from 8 to 3 o'clock. And then from 3 to 3:30, I'll get ready. Not kidding you. Get ready in the car. I'm serious. Take shirt, jeans, shoes while driving. I gotta say that. But I had to, because that's what I needed to do to be at UPS at 4 p.m., 4:30. And then from 4:30 all the way to 2:30, 3:30 in the morning. If it was a good night. If it's a bad night, I was there till 4:30, even 5. And then get up at 6:30. That's like an hour later, 2 hours later. get up, take my kids. Hey, I love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. So I did that for a good about, I mean, if I crunch down the numbers, I would say about a good 15 years.
Wow.
The last 5 years is when reality hit. I started having some medical issues, right? I started getting some anxiety attacks. So
do you think that was because of the constant
lack
work
of sleep.
and the lack of sleep?
Yeah. I talked to my medical doctor. It was kind of cool because I've known him for like 20 years, right? So I said, doc, what's happening? I never had this issue. I'm getting scared, man. I got 2 kids. I got a wife. And he broke it down. You've been doing it for long, man. You're 38. You can't do this no more. You need to figure it out. And I said, okay.
He said, be a man.
Be a man. Ooh.
Did he say that? In other words,
about it. Be a man about it.
Yeah.
And then I started realizing, well, at this stage of my life, at 38, getting close to 40, I really need to hustle. And believe it or not, I even taught Saturday classes too. So even when I got up at 6:37 on a Saturday morning, I was getting ready from a 9 a.m. to noon. A 3-hour class.
This was an online class?
No, this is in person.
This is in person.
It's in person on Saturday.
So you were driving
yes.
in person.
And the reason why is because I knew for a full-time job in counseling, you needed to have some teaching experience. Once again, I knew what the boxes I had to check off. And I was trying to do that because the whole concept, no pain, no gain. From 8 years old, 10 years old, 15, I got to put in something in order to receive something back. So for me, it was kind of hard, Chris, to believe it or not. But
and
at the same time,
you got your tenure track position at what age?
40.
At 40 years old. And you were doing your counseling, hustling and grinding. And this is something, again, that he did not have to do, but he had this goal. Yes. So think about him telling his kids, for those who have families out there, you telling your kids, 15 years, I'll see you tomorrow. Because the goal in his mind was not to retire from his night shift, but to be a full-time tenure track counselor professor here at RCC.
Right.
This dude kept grinding. We're going to hear, we need to get you a personal interview. They need to know more about Jairo De Leon's life.
Yeah, the lion, King of the Wild.
Yes.
See that?
Yes.
That was every morning.
Growl.
King of the Wild. I'm telling you guys, I'm being real. I get in the car, I look myself in the mirror and say, I'm the King of the Wild. I'm a lion. It's the last name. What am I do today? So I think even what does it mean to be a man is different for everybody. So please don't take it as we're telling you, be a man, this is what you got to do. It's different for everybody. I did 20 years of night shift. You did retail. But we were still being accountable and we're being responsible. We were still providing for our families. And not just our family, but ourselves. Our intellectual, our emotion, our psyche, where we're getting up and going feeling good about it.
Exactly.
So I like how we kept it real today, man.
We kept it real. But one thing that you touched on that I like is what do you tell yourself in the morning? What is the first thing you say to yourself in the morning? Do you wake up and say, shucks, it's Monday.
Right.
Oh, babe, I don't feel like starting off this week. What are you telling yourself? If you're telling yourself anything negative to start the week, you're doing it all wrong. If you're starting your week off with negative words, you're doing it all wrong.
Or even take it further, open up that well, I don't know what's the proper word to say. Oh, here it goes. Open up social media and telling you how you should feel today.
Exactly. That's the worst thing that could ever happen.
You should tell yourself how you're supposed to feel today.
Right.
Not social media.
Exactly.
Because I will tell you, social media looks very nice.
It's a highlight reel.
A boat. Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. And then you get into your 1969 Celica.
Yeah.
Hold on. That was me. My bad.
1969.
But I think going back to what you were saying to this time, you guys are battling social media. We didn't have social media back then.
We don't depend on that still till this day.
Correct.
It's neither here nor there.
Right.
Because we grew up without it. And I tell my kids they're not even allowed to have that. I see the difference with my daughter and my son when they did have it. How they were zombie land. It took away each and every single working brain cell from them.
Right.
It was terrible. It was terrible. Now, I'm talking about grades. I'm talking about social, all of that. We would have a full-blown family party, and my daughter and son would rather be upstairs in their room, than coming down. I cut that off, and they've been different kids.
It's different. It's different.
Kids. Try that. Give yourself a social. I know that's hard, That's
It
a
is
hard one.
It is
That's
hard, but give
one.
yourself a
Try
chance.
it. Try different things.
Yeah, self-care.
Self-care.
Self-care is important. But right before we wrap up today, man, definitely look at what we're wearing today.
Mm-hmm.
A2MN, EOPS, male faculty. We're here for you. If you're struggling with the mindset of, what is it to be a man? Have a conversation with us. Send us an email. Subscribe right here below. Just subscribe and listen to us every week. Because I promise you, everything Chris and I will talk is stuff that I wish someone would have sat down with me and talked at 16, 18, 41.
Yeah.
Someone to sit me down and say, hey, what's really happening in your life? What's the next goal for the next 5 years?
Right.
So I want you to really take a look at us today. We're two grown men that have struggles of our own, but we also work for you guys. We're here to serve Riverside City College. It's definitely for our male students as well, because we do care about them.
Exactly. And share this with someone. You don't even got to tell them the topic of it. Share it with them. Let them see for themselves. Maybe this conversation may not be geared towards you, but it may be geared towards your brother, your cousin, your uncle, dad, any of that. Share this, subscribe. We appreciate it. We love you all.
Yeah.
Thank you for keeping the grind alive. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's hurdles in your journey. We've spoke about hurdles. If you want to hear more hurdles, more barriers, tune into an earlier episode.
Yeah. Money. We definitely talked money a couple weeks ago. So you want to look into that. So once again, thank you for joining and keeping it real, because that's what we do, is keeping it real here at Male Mentoring. So hope you guys have a wonderful day. Enjoy your day. Talk to you guys soon.